We welcome in Troy. Troy joins us as he does each and every week. Troy, you know Papa Bro's Steakhouse? They probably do, right, in Dallas?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
How did the Dallas Cowboys? How do you spend $54,000 for dinner? What did you buy for dinner for $54,000?
Well,
not you, but what do you buy for $54,000?
They must have a pretty good wine list.
That's what I mean. It's got to be wine and brandy, right? I mean, they got to be buying this brandy at $300 a glass, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I just caught the tail end of it. I was having this conversation with somebody a little bit earlier as far as the hazing that right. takes place with some. I'm assuming that's what you're talking about.
That's all we've been talking about for days.
Yeah, it's crazy, and I mean, it really, the league's jumped into a lot of different things, certainly, but there's no place for anyone, let alone a rookie. A lot of these guys, not everyone's your number one draft pick that's making a lot of money, and it's a lot of money, and for the veterans to take advantage of some of these players the way that they have, it's just it's deplorable.
Troy, is this relatively new? I've been around stuff and with teams. I've been around the NFL for 35 years. Is this a new ritual to go out and make young players pick up expensive tabs? Is that a new? Was that around when you were around?
Yeah, it wasn't around when I was around. The only thing we did as rookies is seems like I had to do it every day. But you'd get up what you hear about and have to sing. Have to pick a different song each day.
Carry the equipment, maybe, right?
Yeah, and carry someone's stuff. Or
Bledsoe had to get everybody water. I remember in New England and stuff like that.
Parcells would make the first draft pick each year, get his water for him at practice,
and get it for me, which he hated. We used to drive him crazy when I was standing there. He used to hate it. He used to give me dirty looks, So,
I think that when the salaries got to be where they have become, then the money became a bigger issue as far as paying for things. I know that on Friday's a lighter day. You'd have rookies bring in the breakfast sandwiches or whatever it is, but it was just minor things. And, this whole situation that we've been reading about and hearing about, it's kind of gone a lot of different directions as it relates to incognito, and now you're having a lot of players come out and defend him, and maybe the trip to Vegas wasn't what it originally seemed. I'm hearing now that everyone had to chip in. It was just that he was deciding not to make the trip, and so they were going to go ahead and make him pay for his portion. But there's a lot of things that are out there that have kind of been I don't want to say the norm, but there's been a lot of young players. Des Bryant, as you talked about in Dallas, I was really upset when I heard about that, and it's just uncalled for that either the veteran leadership or the organizations, they've got to step in and just put a stop to some of it.
Really, it does, and it just, again, the NFL's been cast in a lot of bad lights, and
it has,
and it's a game of incredible success. It's a game that almost is bulletproof in terms of its popularity, but it's got to be careful here because there's a lot of different things going on, from Tony Dorsett now saying he has problems to Brett Favre having problems. There's just a lot of stuff here that people have to deal with to make sure that this league remains as popular as it is. But let's put it back on the field, because I frankly, you can't get the fans away from talking about this subject. It seems to fascinate everybody because it's something I guess they can ring home to. We're talking with Troy Aikman. This is WFAN, AM and FM in New York right now at 5 o'clock, a little past 5. Troy, of course, has a big game this week as we get through Week 10, but it just seems like there's always an issue, a side issue with this league, but it sure doesn't hurt it anywhere that they have to worry about it. But again, they do spend a lot of time now circling the wagons, both team-wise and league-wise, Well,
I think you bring up a good point, and the fans still love watching the NFL. It's an escape, as we know, for a lot of people. The ratings are through the roof. A lot of money that's being generated. The league's, the revenues are at historical highs, and it doesn't look like there's any end in sight. But what we've also seen is, even though people enjoy watching it and they're buying the merchandise, kids aren't going out for football. That's just what's happening, And so we're seeing less and less players that are playing, and it's because of the things that they're hearing about, and it's because of the images that they're seeing on TV each week. And even with the settlement, with the Players Association and the league regarding the concussion litigation, when you've got Brett Favre or you've got Tony Dorsett, and they're talking about some of the issues, and those are just two guys. I mean, there's a number of players that have talked about it, and when you've got players in the game today that are saying, hey, the reason I'm playing in the NFL is so that my son won't have to, that's about as bad as endorsement for the game of football as there is.
I agree.
So for whatever reason, and I know why there are some of those reasons, but there's an adversarial relationship between the league office and the players. And that has to change. I mean, the players have to feel like the owners and the league are a partner of theirs. And until that happens, you're going to have players coming out and saying things that are contradictory to the messaging, I guess, that the league would like to have. And it certainly becomes a problem. But it's obviously, I've been talking about it for a few years, and the game of football has been awesome for me. It's, forget what it's meant to me financially and my livelihood, but it also prepared me for a lot of things playing as a kid. And I think that a lot of people can talk about that and creates toughness and values and teamwork and sportsmanship and all those things. But when you're talking about, the long-term ramifications that are coming to light, it's a huge concern of mine, and I know it is for the league as far as what that then looks like down the road.